Evening everyone, and welcome back for another day of ESL 1 Cologne. We have the semi-finals now between Chaos and Team Liquid, and boy am I hyped. Mike, of course, is going to be joining me. I'm Dean, and it's got to be said, I'm incredibly hyped, but I'm across the Atlantic. Mike, you're over there, you're an American. I can't imagine how excited you are right now as we get live into this game.
I am. I'm thrilled. To be honest, when individual players on both these teams got the promotion up, obviously Chaos have announced that they're going to be competing in Pro League next season. Grim just got picked up by Liquid. It was a little bittersweet of a moment for me because I've watched these players through so much of their career. I wasn't sure the next time I'd get to cast them. Turned out it was very soon. So Liquid going to be starting on the T side of Inferno, and Chaos on the defense here to start things off here.
We're good now. I just had there was a small tech issue. My bad.
Oh.
I'm producing and casting at the same time.
Always an adventure when you're in production and casting. Now, to set the scene for you folks a little bit, these two teams have met before quite recently in the DreamHack event, and they had the exact same veto. We've got Inferno to start off, then Mirage is the map pick of Chaos, and then we'll finish out on Nuke. And the last time these two teams met on Inferno, it wasn't such a good showing for Chaos. They wound up stepping away with a 16-8 scoreline on the wrong side of that. So Liquid definitely the top dog here, definitely the favorites. And it's going to be up to Chaos to prove to us that they've got it, that they can really compete. They've been taking some big scalps. This may just be the biggest one yet. Taps as they come into the site, but no connections just yet. Zeppel pushed out from Newbox by a Molotov. Steel coming through the smoke will get a bit of an answer, so he keeps the numbers even at the very least. But now the smokes are down. The post plant is assumed. That bomb is planted, and things are looking fairly good for Team Liquid.
Indeed. Positive being, of course, the kit available for the CTs right now, and apparently some opening kills as well there from Steel. He won't go on for too long before being dropped quickly in return by Liege, and yeah, just being swept up at this point by Liquid. It is all left onto Leaf right now, 1-on-3 Liquid. They don't have to give him an inch, and they definitely shouldn't with the help that's available. But they just take the peak together. The head is removed, and there it is. Team Liquid, they open things up with that pistol round going in their favor. And I guess one thing, of course, we do need to actually go ahead and talk about a bit is how the VO has gone down. In terms of the actual maps that came out, I don't think too many people are going to be surprised that we end up seeing Inferno, Mirage, and then Nuke as the decider. Even the two initial bans, I would say, were kind of as expected. Really, this VO was just done down to the T.
It really was. Very straightforward. Both these teams have a perma. Chaos, they ban Vertigo in 95% of scenarios. Liquid take Train out. The only risk, the only deciding factor was whether Chaos might want to change things up from the last iteration, maybe throw in a Nuke pick in there somewhere, change things just a little bit. But they opted to go with the known territory and see if they couldn't mix things up to find a new look. Two Novas in this buy. That's a new look. That is unusual. This is a team that likes some of the unorthodox buys. You'll see Steel break out the dualies quite frequently, but Novas, well, I don't know that I've seen Novas in a comp match in a long time here, Dean.
Yeah, not that I can recall of either. Maybe we might have had like one of them or something recently in that CIS qual we done for New York, but that's CIS Counter-Strike, so that's kind of to be expected. But yeah, it doesn't look like over in the apartments, at least, that Vanity is going to get a chance to do much with his. Steel's already wrapping back around over towards B, so he is going to be grouped up with two of his teammates to actually have a bit of a stacker on the hold. And what the hell is going on? How is John G able to get that? Apparently, Auto Director isn't actually following these for us. But as I say that, a couple of kills being found back. Twists recovers one at least. And it is only right now Vanity on that bomb site. The Nova, though, up close, he could certainly cause considerable damage. And with the T's initially being separated, he is being given the chance here to take these fights. Gets one before falling. And now it's the 3-on-2. They're completely surrounded. There's just nothing that can be done. Naf, he's fighting for his life and has managed to retrieve a rifle.
Oh my! He gets overwhelmed. Steel with the found Galil manages to clean it up. That's insane. What a round to answer back with for Chaos. And that clearly shows that they are not going to play things out to orthodoxy here. They're not going to take this game plan normal. They're willing to change things up so early on, breaking out the Novas. And the added benefit, of course, with the shotguns is you get $900 as a kill reward. So Vanity got that one kill with the Nova. That's extra money that he's now breaking into an M4 full utility here. Almost full utility. He's missing the molly, but it's close. And now they've got a substantial buy, and Liquid, meanwhile, off that reset, are forced into this force. They've got a Galil, though. They've got some upgraded pistols. This is Team Liquid. there's always the possibility that they answer it back, but that's not a good start, and that's the rifle now down. Steel's done what he needed early on. He's asserted himself in towards mid. He's dropped 2 bodies. Yes, they'll be able to retrieve the gun, but they're already set back in a round that was going to be tough from the get-go, and this is a great crossfire now for Liquid. They are ready for this push out. They should have it. Steals the insurance policy, leaves first contact. Leaf has to find one. He does indeed. Steel follows it up, but Twist, the lone survivor, he's got a deagle in hand. The pillar is blocking the head, but eventually Twist does find that tasty soft dome. Now the question is, can he get a plant off of it? Should have the timing for it. I think Zeppa's just a step too far behind to deny this. And now Twist might be able to slink back into a post plan. If he gets into pit, this gets very tough indeed, but they catch him on the cross and they deal with it. It's an expensive round, but considering they just won the force buy and considering Liquid fully invested into this one, that should be A-okay. The bomb plant might give them a bit more to fight with in the next, but Chaos for the time being have bought themselves a little security.
Yeah, as you said, expensive, but it doesn't matter. They're going to have a bit of a chance now to build up that economy, most likely. In theory, because of the bomb plant, Liquid could consider a force buy, but that would be quite crazy at this point. They likely are to just take a few upgraded pistols, and at least keep him with the chance of taking a few weapons again out of their hands. Just ensure that going into that first gun round, that Chaos are not going to be feeling too comfortable with money in the reserve, knowing that maybe they can take more risks than they normally would because they have that ability to rebuy. So yeah, we'll see if they can keep the pressure on. A much more secure investment this time as well from Chaos, it does have to be said. Going straight for 3 rifles, a couple of MP9s that can go and try and actually feed some money, including on Vanity, of course. That's going to be pretty handy to build up his bank.
Oh my.
And nades-wise, there is a lot as well to work with. They've used a bit for that aggression, but for now, Vanity, he's actually being bypassed. He's going to be able to catch Naf coming up out of the underground. But Elige moving back in. Can they get the trade? They can indeed. One goes down. Again, though, just the MP9. So we'll see if they can actually manage to achieve anything now off the back of that kill. And they are. Leaf gets overwhelmed on the bomb site. It's been recovered slightly around long, but that's just enough to keep them in the 3-on-3 now to set up for the retake. Liquid, they've got a bomb plant and 2 kills already. This is fantastic.
This absolutely is. They just managed to find the gaps in the spacing that was set up here from Chaos and exploit them. Obviously, when you go for that deep bench play, there is the potential to circumvent it through apps, and that's exactly what happened, and it could not have gone better for Liquid, to be quite frank. So the question is the recovery going to come in here? Already successful round if you're on Team Liquid. You have no real concerns, but you'd like to win it. Twist is going to do exactly that. There's a kill coming in, but they need more. Janji's done it. Steel cleans it up. 2 survivors. So they get out of it. They'll be able to get that defuse. They'll be able to paper over the wounds they've suffered in this round. But now you've got Liquid coming in full force. They've got that bomb plant. They know they did damage. They know they've let blood from Chaos. And if they can punish in this round, now they'll take what was a bona fide good start for Chaos and quickly start to snuff it out.
Yeah, definitely hasn't allowed for Chaos to build up that comfort, but a positive is they've still got the 3-1 lead early on, so if they can get this open and gun round here on the Chaos side of things, they will be off to a flying start. And you had even mentioned it before we went live, that sometimes this is something that Chaos struggle with, being able to get those early rounds, but right now, even if they've been a bit iffy, they are certainly doing it. But let's see, Liquid, they are out on the full buy. There's no op, not surprising on the T side of Inferno, not surprising in the first gun round either. Nades-wise, though, they do have most of what they need to work with, but they're not going to be using a lot early on, at least not in the initial seconds. They let Chaos expend some of their nades towards Banana instead, and then actually returned with some HEs that done a bit of damage onto Junji. Not too bad.
Now, this seems to be a bit of a slower start, so we can talk about some of the critical insight we got from the game chat between these two teams before the game went live. They were discussing the strats in Among Us. They were discussing Among Us strats and map favoritism, so clearly they've been putting in some server time to practice here. These players, I know some of them actually play the game with each other, so there's some familiarity here. Whether that carries over to the CS server, probably not. You never know. Maybe Among Us will have trained them to call some bluffs. For now, it seems no bluffs. Relatively straightforward from Liquid. They set up to see if Chaos would give them some aggression, give them something to work with, give them a pick that might guide their hand. But instead, just Zeppa info hopping now by the half wall. He's going to back off. They're committing a player to the sandbags. That'll be Janji, who presumably is going to be played off of by Steel and Zeppa, but they've actually kind of left him out to dry. He is way far back. Stewie's going to clean this. They've got to throw a flashbang or something to give him an option, but Stewie backs into it. That's 2 kills. What is this? They completely forgot about the angle, and now Janji's going to turn it into a third. What a result. Janji from the sandbags completely overlooked, and he nearly finds more. Naf now limping. And Team Liquid have just been annihilated by one man standing out by the sandbags and just thwarting all of their plans in this round. They don't even have time. They have 5 seconds. They have to save here, Dean.
That was insane. As you said, they basically left Jonji out to dry by dropping back onto the bomb site with 2 players. It was kind of a base setup. You do rely on them at least getting 1 kill so that then they walk into the 2 players still stacked up on the bomb site. 2 is ideal, but no, he goes one even better. Comes out with 3 kills. As you said, delays for so long that at that point there just was no choice for Liquid to get back into the round because the time was gone. Absolutely fantastic by Jonji. Fantastic here for Chaos as well, being able to lead 4-1 early on. And importantly, doing so on their opponent's map choice.
We had a chance a little bit, had a bit of a chance to catch
What?
up with MC before the game. Vanity! He was full blind. He went for the timing shot, but Steel, there was miscommunication there. He was pushing down mid. He puts a bullet in the back of Steel's brain. Okay, well, there we go. Let's see if Chaos can reset that. They've wiped my brain as well with that shot. But you still got a round to play out. It's a bit of a limited buy for Liquid. Can you recover here? Taking top banana control. They've been gift wrapped the opening kill of this round without having to fire a bullet. Now, Dean, can they see it through?
Yeah, definitely helps them a lot. I'm sure they're going to be feeling ecstatic about having that early pick without having to do any sort of work for it. As well as, of course, being able to actually this time get the full banana control for themselves early on. It does look like Jonji is considering maybe re-aggressing there, but no one was in a position to toss in a flash for him, so he does back off, was just holding close to the smoke initially, but pretty soon they are going to realize that it's the full A hit that's coming in. It seems like even though they know, it is just going to have to be a save that's called for. The 4-on-5 with so few nades, with not a single point of damage having been done, it does make sense, let's be real, for them to go ahead and save over Vanity. That happens, that's very unfortunate, and he will have enough money to go ahead and drop over the steal in this next round as well to make up for it just a small bit.
I like the fact that they have the presence of mind to just pull the ripcord on that one. Say, okay, we did a dumb, we did a massive dumb, and it really puts us in a situation where it's not favorable to recover. So we stack one site. If they run into that, we got a good chance to fight. If they don't, just let them have this one. Get back into it in the next, guys. It's don't shoot Steel in the back of the head this time, and everything will be a little bit better. So as you said, plenty of money for him to drop over, plenty of money for everybody to invest up into utility. This should be the best gun round from both sides that we have. Apart from the Galils that will be brought over, there should be no limitations for either side. This is where we really get a chance to see if Chaos, without killing one of their own, can stack up against the full Liquid onslaught, because that's what's coming into this round. This is the chance for Liquid to really turn the screws. They won't be able to go for the full reset, likely, of course, because of the 4-man save in the previous, but they'll be able to do substantial damage to the long-term game plans here of Chaos. Vanity going to take a different angle, not going for that aggressive mid-peak, because he does not want to kill, well, his teammates. He won't get a chance to kill his opponents either as a result of that. But again, it seems like Liquid are content to bunch up, avoid that initial utility out banana, and then start to poke in, start to see what they can find. I like this late molly and a second as well. Stewie going to go ahead and smoke that to get out of the angle, wary of a peek from Carr. And that is a ton of utility burned in the beginning, but I think Liquid have come out on top. But look at this aggression. Jonji comes flying in. It does not work out, and Stewie takes a second as well. An upgrade available here. Now he's going forward. The onslaught is here. Steel tried to shut the door before they could get through, but all he loses is his life. This round is a wash. Vanity, the last to survive. He's just got to tuck and hide this up, but it's so much time left on the clock, a full minute here. They are going to hunt. They're starting to encircle him, and they've drawn this dragnet to a close. So he'll try and slip away, but there's just no chance it's going to happen. Hits the first shot, but a second player should be there for the punish. He now knows they're trying to bait out the shot. This is Grim, and he's got that at least. So some damage coming in here, and maybe, just maybe, a chance to save the gun. Vanity with a third. This round's not over yet now. He doesn't have a kit, which is a bit unfortunate, but this suddenly went from being a 100% sure thing to maybe an element of risk. Certainly Liquid can't afford to just hunt willy-nilly. He won't have the time to get this, but holy cow, Vanity. 3 big kills to hang on to the big green gun.
Yeah, and I am thankful, I'm not going to lie, that Liquid do give up on the hopes of actually hunting that down, because already losing 3 players, that's pretty costly. It won't impact them right now, but in the long run it could, if Chaos are able to restabilize once they get onto the guns themselves. You had said, obviously, their economy wasn't going to be completely destroyed with losing that previous round there, but even with the up being saved over, they are unfortunately still looking at an eco on everyone. They can get a few pistols, they can get a couple of nades, they actually go for HEs on everyone. Obviously Vanity had saved over, but they get the HEs out on the rest. They get smokes as well, which can allow for these pistols to be a lot more successful, especially if you can actually carry those smokes over into later in the round then to hold off those choke points, and with that force the T's to come true. But we'll see, the op also still in play. Vanity this time was looking to be a bit more aggressive around mid. Wasn't really being given anything though by Liquid, and that's understandable. They know the op's in play. They don't need to give him anything that isn't necessary right now.
I'm surprised we didn't see the early nade stack, but considering how cautious Liquid have been in the early round to avoid that initial utility salvo, I suppose it makes sense. They're going to hang on to those HEs. They're going to wait till they know where players are, or at least have a good idea, and then try and go for the mortar strike. We see one come in, a second, not very effective. Just a little bit of tickle damage onto Stewie. That's not really the bang for the buck they were hoping for out of this round. But that is top banana control now taken by Liquid in a round that was already going to be limited for Chaos. This is not looking great. Obviously, we don't expect much from them. Frankly, if they can get out of this round with Vanity's op alive, it's not the worst result. A smoke will come in, but it was from the CT side, and everybody has vacated the premises here from the attacking squad. They're going to bail out and head towards A, and this is a very soft A site. This is, I mean, this has been fabric softened, and this has been meat tenderized, whatever you say. There's one player here with a USP. That's Leaf. He's got a smoke. He's got a nade. And he's looking the wrong way as he's going to get killed from the hall. Nope. Readjusts. Will get eliminated. Steel did get a kill with a P250 through smoke, but that should be all she wrote. Bomb will go down. Round is won by Liquid. The question just becomes, does Vanity save this off?
Yeah, definitely could be worthwhile again. And with Junji now having an AK in play, that's going to be a pretty big boost. He himself is the one who could definitely do it. That only having 2150, it's going to help out to make sure all the nades will be available, that the kits will be in play as well. And at this point can leave Zeppa as well with that Eagle to see if he can maybe snatch one more away. With that then combined with the damage that Vanity was able to get in that previous round, dropping a few weapons there definitely would make it quite difficult for Liquid to stabilize their own economy. But nah, Zeppa looked like he might have had a chance there to get the drop, but Elige was ready for it. But yeah, no one hunting aggressively this time. They don't try and actually charge those weapons down, knowing that either way the buy is going to be coming out for Chaos. Sure, they would probably recognize that they could have limited the nades a little bit more, but needing to stabilize their own money, that's what they aim for. But here we go. Chaos, they're back on the buy. And it feels like it's been a little while. The first gun round for them went fantastically. Then we had that whole mishap that we just won't mention. Then in the next gun round, Liquid just rolled over them. And it's only now again that they're getting another attempt.
It's almost like that mishap around, you blow a gasket, and you spend all this time retooling the engine, rebuilding, pulling things out, putting things in, figuring out what exactly was going on here. Now maybe you're back on the reset. We'll see, though. Early utility into bedroom. It looked like Vanity was thinking about maybe going for an aggro peek there, so they deny it. They shut it down before it can happen. Steel instead is going to be the contact man. Elige spotted him. Spotted just the bows, but he'll get the head. Steel was trying to back out. The spray from Elige is good. That's a big scalp to find early on. We saw Steel with some impact rounds, some impact kills from that sort of crossfire out by Bracket. Now things get a little rough for Chaos. They've got two towards either side. They're playing the buddy system, but having gained ground on top of the half wall, Zeppa will be abandoned. Jonji leaving his comrade behind to solo anchor this in a very tough scenario. Meanwhile, the hit's coming through towards A, but they make the noise. They find the space towards Bracket, and they back out. It's coming back Zeppa's way, and he's fallen off the wall, so this gets risky indeed. A molly to clear out the forward position. And a minute off the clock. Just 55 seconds to work with here for Liquid. They're playing this a little close. They haven't really found anything to build on apart from that one kill to this point, but they've grouped up. They're going to trust in the hit. They're going to trust that they can make this work. There is still utility, especially on Vanity, to potentially slow this down and make time really an issue. Just now working their way into hallway. 30 seconds on the clock, folks. Keep an eye on that timer. Things could get hairy, especially as they clear out Pit. But here's going to come the hit. Here's going to come the movement, and they get the first kill on Jonji, so that makes it better. Couple quick shots, but Vanity, he can only stay alive so long. He did his work. He got 2 kills, but it just wasn't enough. That bomb will be planted, and Zeppa is now put into a clutch scenario, a 1v2. If there was going to be a man to get this done, it would be Zeppa, but he's got no utility. He's got no kit. And they've got all the time in the world to take post-plant scenarios. He'll spot the first, but he doesn't find the head. Grim, a little bit low, but he knows where the player's coming from now, and they can just play the time on it. Zeppa, so many angles to clear. Should know that Elige is in the pit as well. He is indeed, but knowledge is only half the battle. The shots can't be landed, and Liquid will take the lead.
Yeah, that was played absolutely perfectly right there once they had him caught in the open. As soon as they saw that he had already crossed on towards the bomb site before he could get to any sort of comfortable position, they both swing in, ensure that it is going to be ended. And yeah, with that team Liquid, they've taken the lead. What looked to be a good start here for Chaos is pretty quickly unraveled, unfortunately. They keep being left in these buys here where Vanity just has an op to work with. Obviously, that was because of the fact that he saved the op earlier on, that he does have the extra cash now. So at least having something to try and do the early impact. And we'll see if he can get this opening frag, then it will help them a lot to maybe take the round a little bit easier from that point on. But with the run boost so far, not really being given the chances, and when he does finally, he ends up getting dinked down through the edge of the wall, so that's not ideal.
At least we've finally seen some decent utility damage from the CT side. Liquid have done such a good job of avoiding that initial salvo. They've been playing the time late,
and
but they've been doing...
well.
Yes. And now we're seeing them go a little more aggressive. They do eat that nade, but they've got the space as a result of it early on. Minute 15 left. As you said before, it's really just that AWP that's the threat. That AWP will be playing back in the graveyard, and that may be an apt name because that's the way it's been going for Chaos. Now, what I will say is, this is already a better CT side than the last time Chaos played Liquid on this map. They only got 2 rounds that time on the defense. But admittedly, it was an ending score of 16-8, so that's not really a performance to emulate. They need a lot more here. They need a lot more on the defending side of Inferno.
Oh yeah, they gave us that bit early on, and yeah, now that you bring the previous score back up, it's definitely something that I'm sure a few people are scared of watching this, but we'll see once they get back onto an actual full investment. Having 3 players right now around A, but as we see Team Liquid making the correct decision, I would say, to actually wrap around through long so that they can have those extra angles, and also so that they can utilize the range advantage they have, of course, with these AKs, and that's exactly what they do. Picking off the heads, Elige there as well to cover off his teammate moving towards Library. Zeppa, though, eventually stealing one away. That's an AK. Immediately trying to back off, but Stewie, he'd already wrapped around through Library, so that wasn't going to be allowed. And at this point, Liquid are really just building up a ridiculous economy. They're not going to be struggling really anytime soon, because, I mean, yeah, sure, there's a couple players who are a bit low on money, but they can get dropped over, and then by the time that the actual money starts to really run out for Liquid, they'll have a bit of loss bonus going. So, yeah, Chaos, they just really need to turn this back around right now in terms of the momentum. Again, having the op for Vanity, we'll see if he can find any opening picks this time, if he'll have any more success, or if he'll even attempt it is the question. And the nades, again, not being an issue, but as you said, Liquid, they've been doing a fantastic job at actually avoiding those nades early on, and then still advancing towards the map control afterwards.
Liquid are in complete comfort at this point.
Oh, damn.
Oh my! That's Steel trying to get them off that point of comfort. He nearly does, but unfortunately for him, M4 AK wins that duel every day of the week. Headshot for headshot, Twist comes out on top. So Team Liquid, and we shelled away so much money coming into this, having gotten the opening pick, are again just methodically starting to spread out here. The one difference this time is Junji is all the way deep towards logs. They're jumping to try and make them think that it's a similar hold to what they've been doing with Zeppa. If they don't clear the log pile, maybe we see a repeat of the Junji sandbag round, except a little deeper into Banana this time. But for the moment, it seems like they're coming in. We've seen this from them again, though. They poke top mid, they find that ground, and then they back off. So that's not a guarantee that anything's happening here. The deep smoke, though, might persuade them that this A hit is, in fact, the ticket.
Yeah, a little bit of a spam, at least keeping those 2 players in position over towards Banana, but of course, leaving the opportunity for a quick flank potentially as well. 40 seconds though, smoke's going down, 1 towards the arch, 1 over towards Library as well, and again setting up this A split. That does seem to be the goal. They actually have Pick completely smoked off as well, making it quite a bit more difficult for especially Vanity right now on the bomb site to do anything. And yeah, scoped in initially on long, they managed to take out his help that was in towards the pit. At that point, just being completely swarmed, and he tried his luck with the no scope. Unfortunately, that just didn't work out. And yeah, as we had said, that flank, it was in place to be there extremely quickly, but it still needed those A defenders to at least be coming out with 1 kill each for it to have any sort of potentially round-winning outcome.
I think this is the point where we start to look at the scoreboard and get a little bit concerned with the way that things have stacked up. We're now finishing out the 11th round, and the 2 players on the bottom of the scoreboard are Leaf and Zeppa with 2 kills apiece. Now, that's problematic if you're Chaos, because these are your young guns. These are the players that you look to have those pop-off performances, pull off some nutty clips, some nutty clutches, and get you into rounds, and we just have not seen it happen from either player just yet. And Chaos is not typically built to succeed if neither of these players are having a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the case with most teams when they have 2 players who normally just frag crazily in every game. You're going to get used to it. It's going to become something that your team maybe relies on a little bit, but it's early enough days. The only thing is the next gun round really is the last chance rather for them to start picking it up into a position where they can still have a respectable CT side. It's already getting out of control at this point. Liquid are very likely going to be putting themselves in a position where they at least have the half one out, with the chance of course to add quite a bit more, and that's after Chaos initially being able to go up 4-1. So yeah, it's really starting to slip away from them. They need to pick it up soon. A couple rifles here though, so you can't count them out completely in this round. I'm sure we've seen many times what even one rifle can do in the hands of a CT player when saved over, let alone two, alongside so many nades as well to actually support it.
Deep push in. This is the change-up. Janji's trying to catch them off guard, but the flashes are perfect for Liquid, and Stewie will get the kill. Everyone's blind, but it's Janji who comes up holding the bill. Now, once again, Liquid have gotten an opening pick. It feels like that's something we've said consistently in every round since they started winning any, is they're so good at winning that initial engagement and putting Chaos onto the back foot. Now they'll do this same play we've seen. They take the top mid control, but now they push through it instead of waiting, instead of reaching back. That nade is good. Grim's now dead. Leaf doing some work. Here's the 5-7 play we expect from Leaf, but 2 is all he can find with the pistol. They've got 2 rifles in the hands of Zeppa and Steel, only 1 set of armor, but in a 2v3, I don't know that Chaos can let this chance slip past them. This is too tempting to go for. They'll be grouping into the halls. They'll be coming out that balcony. Alige should have this locked down, and if not Alige, Naf will be the next point of contact. Alige has been so good so far, this game, which is what we absolutely expect from him. See if they can get past him this time. Time's starting to tick down. I don't know if they're going to go for this. Zeppa's now lost his life, so they're definitely not going to. The question is, can Steel slip away? Nice poke in from Stewie to eliminate the threat. He doesn't have time for this ninja. Does he?
Trying
oh my
anyway,
goodness.
they've heard the footsteps.
He might. They're coming back around.
Close enough. Surely they can make it.
Oh, if he tucked in just a bit more, maybe.
Yeah.
But even then, I think Naf has them. What he does do is kill 2 player to the bomb.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's much going to matter at this point.
I mean, we had already mentioned how the money really wasn't going to be an issue, and that was a couple of rounds ago even, so it's definitely not going to be running out in this half right now for Liquid. They have plenty, but yeah, damn, that must have been so close. The issue was, yeah, he didn't even have the extra half a second or whatever he'd need to actually tuck himself in to go for that defuse. He just had to give it a go. Very ballsy from Steel, not the first of those moments we've seen from him throughout this game so far. But yeah, he fell a little bit short, but this is where hopefully he can start bringing his team back into the winning ways. They have everything they could really need. Kits available across the board, or at least on the majority of players. The nades again are there, and they are going back to this 3-man setup towards the top of Banana in the beginning. Again, Team Liquid, they avoid those nades well. Immediately afterwards then begin to actually get themselves that control in the positions that Chaos may expect to be cleared out. Oh, look at that, over the logs with the flash coming in. Unfortunately, only gets the 1, and through the smoke, Vanity says, yeah, we want a little bit more. Actually dropped the bomb, spotted the leg of Grim coming through as well, and this is just destruction. This is much better from Chaos. I don't know if it's a reliable way to win rounds, but it's working right now.
It was a little madcap, right? It was a little madcap, and they happened to come out on top this time around, but we'll see what Twist and Alige can do damage-wise. Here towards the A site, that's a big miss from Steel. Just couldn't quite line up the head, and he'll lose his life as a result. So now it's a 2v2, and there's still a minute on the clock here, team. Instead of bothering to go back and clear the bomb, they said, all right, let's press forward and clear out who's holding on site. Vanity is in a little bit of a cheeky angle, having come all the way through the underpass tunnel, but he's about to get caught from Twist. There's no way he's getting away from this, and Twist is playing this patient. He has to get the kill. He loses his teammate. A little too slow there, Twist. Playing a bit risky. But Zeppa now has multiple angles to be aware of. That flashbang cues him off to his opponent's position, but Twist is basically 3 ways to attack this. He can go around the back. He can go straight forward. Problem is, he only has 6 points of health, and so he's going to have to be very cautious indeed. And Zeppa, withdrawing into Banana, is perfect here. At a certain point, he can just drop the molly. There is a smoke for Twist, but even with that, there's no sure thing. Twist has now made noise. He is a dead man, and Chaos. Only 1 player survives, but they finally get that 5th round. It has been a long time. 7 rounds in a row for Liquid. Chaos finally back on the board.
Yeah, I mean, but as you said, 1 player surviving, it doesn't leave them with everything that they would want.
It was a 2v4.
Yeah, exactly. They had such a good start as well that it really shouldn't have been coming down to that position. And to be honest, if Twists had gotten that kill half a second earlier on towards Vanity, then it probably would have still been Liquid's round. So yeah, that was a bit too close for my liking. I definitely need to see Chaos step it up here and get these 2 remaining rounds in a much more convincing fashion. Oh, but look at those nades. They will not overlook Junji. This time he still gets a kill. 10 health. The flash thankfully did come over, but Vanity, he's at least given time to get into position. Snatches away 1 kill and seems to have, for now, actually delayed that B push. forced Liquid to reconsider what they want to do with this round, but they have a lot of time to do exactly that.
Pretty incredible that Johnny gets anything out of that position. Just considering how close to death he already was and how clearly they were clearing the exact play, right? You don't fool Liquid with the same play twice in a game. The adaptation is too quick. So now Liquid slow it down. They had accelerated the pace, which was definitely the tempo breaker from the way they've been playing this map for the most part. Now they brought it to a 3v3. They're going to slow it right down. That allows Vanity to retake this angle, but he has to clear deep into car, and this is when he's vulnerable. Now he'll get away. I like this readjustment. It does allow them towards top banana, but he's going to play all the way back in spawn, it seems. Is there smokes available? There are indeed. That means Vanity's going to likely be locked out unless he tries to go for the very aggressive play. The rotation will be on here, but he's almost certainly going to have to concede this bomb plant. There is nothing that he can hope to do about this, especially with a molly now behind the smoke.
Yeah, even before the molly went down right there, he'd have to be crazy to actually go forward before his teammates are able to rotate over. They do have Leaf as well coming up through banana, so they've got the multiple angles at least to move in from, but it does rely on these players actually winning out their aim duels, and the first one to be tested, that was Leaf. He unfortunately falls short. Vanity, he has the same outcome as does Steel, taking that long-range fight on an MP9. Oh, that is heartbreaking. Chaos, they get torn apart in that retake right there, and now are left with so little money to actually try and get this 6th round on the half. Obviously, they have to go in for the buy. This is the final round here of the half, but it looks like Liquid are going to be able to bring themselves up to double digits, and again, that's despite Chaos in the beginning being able to actually get that 4-1 lead. They lost the pistol, ended up winning out a force buy in a pretty insane fashion, and then went on a 4-round win streak and have just shown us very little since then.
This is the Liquid that we expect, right? This is the Chaos team. They're the upstarts in this situation. They've been on a hot streak. They've been toppling some teams you don't expect necessarily, but Liquid at the end of the day is a mammoth of the North American scene and absolutely believe that they belong in the finals of this Cologne event. And it's hard to argue with them when they're playing like this. I mean, you've got the incredible performances. Twist is 17-7 right now at the top of the board, but everyone's fragging. Everyone's having a good game. To be quite frank, and it's tough to contest with them when they're polished like this, which is most of the time. Here's going to be the poke around. They've got a little bit of control in towards top bracket. The change up is that they put Vanity on the flower pots, and he nearly punished them for it, but he falls awkwardly between the balconies right as the hit's coming in, and now Leaf will not be able to hold on with just an MP9. This round is over. They are, of course, going to attempt it. It is the last round of the half, so there's no reason not to. But what can they hope to get done? Stewie's going to find Zeppa to begin. It's all on the back of John G now. 1v4. This would be a clutch for the ages. And he's already been tapped through smoke. He's already down quite low. He's gone past a player. FNAF will get it done with the dualies of all things for extra style points. And it is a 10-5 half for Liquid as they just come out dominant in their map pick.
Yeah, and again, despite the initial 4-1 deficit that they were working with, so absolutely fantastic for Liquid. I'm sure they are feeling extremely good about how this is going right now. And Chaos, on the other hand, they've got to be worried. You had said they struggled on the CT side as well in that previous one. So they came out with 2 rounds, so they must have got 6 rounds at least on their T side. So that's not the worst, but at this point needing a lot more than that if they want to actually get the victory here on Inferno. And with that, steal the map away from Liquid. We've got to be real. Mirage coming up next as Chaos's choice is definitely one that you say they should stand a better chance on, but they're against Liquid. It doesn't really matter what map, they are going to have a difficult time.
I think Chaos coming into this likely knew that Inferno was probably a lost cause. In talking to MC before the game, he said they felt like they were due for a good Inferno day, but that's a little bit optimistic coming up against a team like Team Liquid. Mirage, they should have a little bit more to show us. They've been doing some retools. They've been changing some things up. Apparently, there are some things that Liquid likely haven't seen before, certainly haven't seen from Chaos before, so they might be able to catch them off guard. But as we've already seen from Liquid in this map, they're quick to adjust. There was that one sandbag play from Jonji where they got completely overwhelmed, and they never let that happen again, right? They never failed to check one of those corners or to take something for granted on Banana, and Chaos just couldn't get away with it again, and that's what we expect from Liquid. We expect that instant adjustment. Obviously, they've just made a few changes. They brought in Grim as their 5th to replace Nitro, the long-standing member of the team, and they also replaced their coach, bringing in Moses, the man of casting fame, and now in the coaching chair. But it seems that they haven't really missed a beat here. They're very smooth on their communication, on adjusting, on being prepared, and at least here on Inferno, they are the dominant force.
I mean, Twists is 19-7 right now. Elige 12-8, 11-10 for Stewie. When you have those three players popping off, that it is to be expected that you're going to be seeing score lines along the line of this. Yeah, I'm still kind of upset about how that sixth round, I think it was, went down. When
where Vanity shot Steel in the back of the head.
Yeah, that was a little bit awkward, unfortunately, and may have kind of cost them what that kind of bit of initial momentum that they had got going from how convincing the first gun round was. Because we have to remember, obviously, the rounds after winning out the force buy really weren't too clean for Chaos. They were very close when they were up against the weaker buys. Then in that first gun round, they just stomped it out, and yeah, then that happened.
Yeah, it was like they were in a race, two cars racing. And then with a substantial lead coming into the first turn, the Chaos car took a gun out and just shot the tires off.
Yeah, that works as well. Not even just stall it, just blow your own tires. Yeah, no, it did seem to kind of, I guess, deflate them a little bit in terms of the confidence, maybe. They tried to keep it going. We've seen some mad moments even when Steel attempted to push down mid on his own, but it seemed like some of the aggression as well was costing them at times. So we'll see how they actually work now over on this T side. We should be back in just a moment, by the way, guys, at the halftime, just a 3-minute break normally. And indeed, you can see the pause is being removed. The countdown, it is back. The numbers are moving, and the players will be in just a moment as well, as I believe it goes without saying right now that Chaos desperately need this pistol round.
No, what's interesting here is also thinking more about that first half, right? I'm going to say something that might be very obvious, but I'm going to go ahead and verbalize it. Chaos are playing like they're the underdogs, right? They're trying to do a bunch of cheeky stuff to catch their opponents off guard. That sandbags play, the pushes down mid, just the Nova buy. Things to catch their opponents off guard that they might not be expecting, because if they just play normal, if they play their standard setups, they don't have faith that they can beat Liquid here. And it's understandable. This is Team Liquid. But it does speak to, I think, a little bit of their mindset, at least here on Inferno. That nade damage is brilliant early on. Junji, Leaf, and Steel all catch the brunt of it. Steel barely surviving. The other two not much better for the wear. It's going to be Stewie as the first point of contact. He's got a smoke that he can drop to delay them, perhaps, but he's going to hold on to it. Now it comes out to provide a little bit of space, perhaps, and put the threat into their mind that he could have slipped into the back of sight. This will likely be a Chaos bomb plant, which, considering how much utility damage they ate immediately, is already not a bad show. And they got 5 alive in the post plant. Some barely. They are alive here, Dean.
Yeah, that was desperately needed by Zeppa, and he's just going to keep on fragging, apparently. Not quite achieving the third, but he did do a bit of a damage, at least, on towards the Liege. But yeah, as you had said, that nade damage earlier on. Team Liquid, they may not know exactly how much was done, but I think they have a bit of an inkling as they do move forward. Vanity, though, he's wasting time around the pillar, but it's not enough because his teammates are not able to step up. It's fallen back into the 3-on-1 now, and it's all on Leaf. They don't know he's in the corner, but it didn't matter. They had the angle to body block that defuser, and Elise just keeps on hitting those headshots as he comes out with a quad kill. 11-5 Team Liquid. They're just looking fantastic right now, trying to come through with a statement and say that really it wasn't a fluke the last time they were able to come through with such a convincing victory on this map as well. They are showing that they are the better Inferno team.
No, without a doubt. I mean, that pistol round felt like a tug of war. First, you have Chaos get battered back, but then they take the site, and you see such an effort out from Zeppa. You start to believe, and Elige, he takes that belief, and he just crushes it. Just uses it as fuel for his USP, and oh my goodness, he is so good with that gun. Let's see. We've got the investment here from Chaos. Obviously, they don't have a lot of rounds to work with, so if they're going to force buy here, they need to get it going off this round. Otherwise, you're going to see Liquid up to 13, 14 rounds before Chaos can really muster a fight. And that's just, I mean, that's not a winnable situation most of the time in Counter-Strike. It's certainly not when you're faced off against Liquid. Don't expect to be able to claw back from that kind of a deficit. We do have the SMGs, bit of a limitation here for Liquid, and they're already down on util. They've now thrown out one of the remaining smokes. They've got one more smoke, one Molotov, one flashbang, and of course, Dean, the most important piece of util, a decoy.
Oh yeah, definitely necessary.
What's the decoy strat here? Where do you toss the decoy? Just fake flash it, or is there a specific decoy spot you think they've got lined up?
I don't think there's even going to really be a chance that we're going to see that decoy being thrown out. I think more so he'll be too busy with the flash and the molly in his hands. Although the flash has already been thrown out to try and slow down this push as it's coming in. Indeed, now the molly going to be dropped on short, so I was going to say that'll help out a lot to allow for them to just deal with long at first, but apparently Jonji, he's going to be the one that comes out on top of the initial trades, I know the Deagle of Vanity coming through with a headshot as well. It gives you some hope, but it seems to be pretty quickly falling apart as Leaf is taken out. And then Vanity's only allowed one more as they rush him down on the bomb site, sticking close in the pack. Getting way too close for my liking, I'm not going to lie, considering they were just up against the Force Buy, but they get the round win. They do it still with a couple players alive, mainly having a 12-5 lead. It's probably just not something that's going to worry them all that much, especially since they have a chance to make up for it now, going up against only a few pistols at most, I would imagine.
That was a nice play from NAF in the library as well. You could see they were clearly trying to circumvent his position, right? You see players trying to jump through the door frame, just they don't want to take that fight, and they don't necessarily have a smoke for it, which is a problem. That's a missing piece of utility that would have made all of the difference in that round. If they have a Molotov for library or a smoke for library, I think there's a very good chance that Chaos take it, but it wasn't available to them. It was the force buy. They were limited. And NAF takes full advantage. He's got 3 players. First, he takes the 2 through the actual door frame, and then peeking back into the site, takes down the 3rd, and really makes it impossible for Chaos to win out that round. So very nicely done for NAF. And we are going to see Team Liquid. We're seeing a pause come in here. Not sure who this came through from. This is Chaos's pause. Makes a lot of sense. They need to get something going here. This is obviously not going to be the round to do it. This is just try and get the bomb down, try and force them into awkward angles, maybe pull off something miraculous. But this next gun round is realistically their last proper chance to get anything going in this map.
Yeah, it really is. Lose the following gun round, and at that point, Liquid will already be on the finish line, pretty much over it at that point almost. Yeah, as I said, a few pistols being upgraded at least. Actually getting a bit more than I expected, going for 2 Deags, a Tech 9, a P250, and then instead of an upgraded pistol on steel, going for a smoke and flashes. So it could certainly give them a chance to try and at least come through with a couple of kills. A bit of damage as well being done initially towards Grim, and Stewie helps out. But pretty quickly, Leaf, he ends up going down. You see the player who's around Arch being NAF again, playing very cautiously. He takes the initial contact, falls back off onto a better angle at that point to ensure he can keep the distance with the M4 and not let the pistols actually overwhelm him. So very well played by Liquid to handle that eco round. And as we said now, this is potentially the last chance for Chaos to get themselves back into this map. Otherwise, they're going to be heading onto Mirage feeling probably a little bit down about themselves, having to come back into the series then with a clean sweep.
Now look, Twist and Elige might be top of the board, but do you know what the most important statistic is in Counter-Strike here, Dean? It's MVP stars. I'll give you the hint. It's MVP stars, and NAF's sitting at the top of the board with 6 of those puppies.
Someone can get a 4K, you can get 1 kill and then defuse, and you get it.
Look, NAF just knows where the impact's at. He knows where it's at. That's back-to-back 3Ks as well in those rounds. Obviously, the second one not so impressive since it was an eco, but it's still essential kills to get. So nicely played from NAF.
We are going to see Liquid doesn't, though.
That's true. We are going to see Chaos set their sights here on A. It's a pretty standard setup here for Liquid. Nothing too adventurous. The player back in Graveyard, really the only thing that's at all unusual, if that. Smoke in. They're going to try and catch Twist on the timing. Steel can't quite line it up, and he loses his life as a result. Fair attempt, I suppose, to try and get out ahead of the smoke. It's a risky play, but sometimes risks need to be taken, and Zeppa hits that. I did too, and I had no idea how that spray would have worked, but it's Zeppa instead. Is this wanted?
Unfortunately for Leaf, he's not allowed to escape. His teammate Zeppa was the one who had claimed that kill before as well. I didn't get your reference. I'm very sorry. I missed out on some of them just because.
Bending bullets? Was that terrible mid-2000s movie Wanted where they bend bullets?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I think I've seen that ages ago. But right now, nothing about bending bullets. They're all going straight, and with that straight into the bodies of these players. I was going to say Favor and Liquid, but Elige does get taken down, and now they can flash in through that long smoke as well, come in from 2 angles, and with that realize that the A bomb site itself is clear. So the bomb, it is going to be getting planted. And this is certainly one of the better positions we've seen Chaos in so far. NAF, he is in the apartments really early right now, but he doesn't want to use that timing to his advantage. Instead, ensuring that he's going to be able to work alongside Grim now as he moves up short. Molly going in towards the pit. Both players, though, situated on the bomb site. They deal with the first quickly, and at that point, John G just pinned in the close corner. There really wasn't much to be done. To be fair, if he got that first kill, then there definitely could have been a bit of a chance. He got Grim quite low, but against the MP9 up close as well, that weapon, the rate of fire just shreds through you.
The timing was perfect there, right? NAF goes out. That was NAF on the balcony, right? Or am I losing my mind here already? Point is, the balcony player goes out half of a second before, not even half a second, quarter of a second before Grim. That allows Grim to close distance with the SMG. It's just well-oiled, perfect execution there. And that was really the boot heel coming down on the throat of Chaos. That was their chance, right? And they nearly pulled it off. It seemed like it was a possibility. But at this point, yes, they're going to be able to continue the buys off of the bomb plants, but how many more opportunities are you going to get? You're going to start to see the economy build up for the CT side. That aggressive peek into alt mid nearly works out. Naf has to back out here. That shot would have been the death blow here. The dagger in the back. Instead, it's going to be Stewie to get it. He's got two. Doesn't make it look good, but he does escape as well. Comes back into the fight. That's a little bold. But hey, 2 for 1 is not a bad exchange. Could have stayed alive with 5. But as it is, Liquid have a massive advantage here in the 20th round of the game.
Yeah, well, to be fair, if he went for any more, his name would be a lie. So
there you go.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what that repeat was about, but it's probably partly the fact that they're up 14-5, if we're being honest, because, yeah, Chaos, they're left on the back foot right now. Stewie, the 2 kills, it just may be enough to allow them to reach this map point already. A little boost coming in. I think there's so much smoke down that they can't really even get the vision on towards the coffins. You see the one on the bomb site, of course, blocking it. But that is also allowing now for them to creep forward. With that, potentially try and take a fight towards the CT spawn. At least that probably would have been the goal. As we see, though, both players looking to initially play the crossfire from coffins and oranges, and it doesn't work out all that well. Chaos are able to trade this successfully back to the 2v2, and again get that bomb planted. Can they hold it off this time, though, is the question.
The answer to that question has not been favorable to the Chaos side so far this game, but time now starting to get low this time. There's not a lot of utility either. 2 flashes. Fortunately, both players are sporting kits, but those flashes won't connect. A pillar blocks them. Zeppa now has control for the back of sight, but he can't hit the shot. It's all on Leaf. Holding the cross, he'll hit the first. Now Elige knows the situation, but is there anything he could do about it? Just trying to line up here is Leaf. And Elige, oh, he's just going to stick it? No, pulls off. Doesn't matter. Leaf hits the shot, and at least for the moment, he has saved their bacon. It's a stay of execution for Chaos. They get their first round of this second half, and they maybe, just maybe, awaken a glimmer of hope for them in this game.
Yeah, I know it's cliche to say, but they do have a long road ahead of them if they really want that round to be impactful. They're just going to need to take it one at a time right now, and at least for this one, should be a little bit easier. This is the first time in forever that they've actually had a round where they're not up against rifles and ops and such. So at least now they'll be given a moment maybe to calm down and try and compose themselves. As you said, to start maybe pulling back this comeback. Even if they don't get it all the way to the victory, at least try and warm up a little bit more before you head onto your own map choice and Mirage, because they have looked quite flat. And as you said, especially Zeppa and Leaf, they didn't get going in that first half like we would have hoped.
Look at how conservative this buy is. Grim's sporting $5,200 extra, and they've just gone for the 5.7s here. Not even armor onto Grim. So they just want to make sure that when they get the gun rounds, it's going to be as perfect as possible. Ops available, utility available. And when you got this big of a lead, of course, it makes sense. Here's going to be the push up. Steal. Okay, was trying to get a little bit, but he had a bit too much on his plate. Didn't have the appetite for it. The MAC-10 was not able to digest those players. There's a player tucked into the dark corner. That's Grim playing sneaky. If they overlook him, they won't overlook him. Could have been dangerous, but they will thwart that danger. Bomb now down and just 5.7s for the retake. Here they move. It's all about doing damage at this point. Zeppa gets 2 kills and a third as well. So Zeppa should have ended this round, tied it up, put a little bow on it. They'll be able to retrieve the op as well, avoid taking any Galils through. Here is Chaos on to 7. They have half of their opponent's scoreline now. But here's where the threat comes in. Here's the investment from Liquid and the chance for Liquid to end this comeback before it gets started.
Yeah, as you said, half of their opponent's scoreline. 50%, it doesn't sound like a lot, but not all of those will be gun rounds, so it's not quite as daunting maybe as it seems, but yeah, still very difficult. This round is really going to be one that gives us the, I guess, signal as to whether Chaos are going to be able to get this comeback really going or not. Naf was run move to the cross, so the peak may not be expected so quickly, but they did at least thankfully have Steel ready to follow it up. So a 1-for-1 trade, definitely a position they can be happy with, especially as we didn't see Liquid contesting Banana really at all, apart from some initial nades. Do they want to challenge it now? It's looking like maybe they were tempted until that smoke went down. Jonji, rather, in the corner is in trouble, being mollied and then spammed as well. So yeah, I would say at this point, Liquid have done a pretty good job at recovering the round back into a fairly even position, and now even an advantageous one with the kill being found. Zeppa creeps in though to try and at least see if he can catch something back, and he has indeed been able to. That's going to influence them now to actually commit this towards B, but the issue is the bomb is still back on ramp.
This round feels like a game of chess. It's all about exchanging your bishop for a rook. And for the time being, Chaos have been effective on the trades to keep the pieces working, if not evenly, or if not in their favor, rather, just about evenly. And they've started to got the health advantage as well. Grim, a lot of pressure on the new guy. He's got to hold the back of the site. They are very familiar with him as well. So as this hit comes in, Grim has to hold the line. We've seen so many highlight reels from this player in this position. Can he deliver once more? Grim coming through. He's got the first, transfers to the second, but Leaf is quicker. A 2v2, but one of those players has to get to the bomb plant. There's only 30 seconds left, but Alish trying to force the issue without his teammate there will be denied. Now Twist with only 19 points of health. He's just going to get the up, and he's going to get out of there. Chaos, they do pass this test. They are starting to make us, well, if not quite believe, have just a bit more faith. They will now match the previous round total from the last time they had to go around with Liquid on this map. They'll take 8 rounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you said, ended up actually having a much better T side in that previous matchup as well. It was only 6, so much better than 2 wasn't really enough in that situation either to be able to actually bring them towards the finish line or even close. But yeah, it's, as you said, getting a little bit more convincing now that maybe there is still a possibility of that comeback. Not the cleanest of rounds, sure, but the main thing is they get the round. They're going to be going up against an Eco and CT side apart from the saves over up, so they'll have a chance in this one as well to try and get that money built up in the bank. All they really need is enough for one buy anyway. Ideally, they don't want to be letting a round go, but that's the one thing they need to try and ensure that they have at least enough money for one buy in the bank at all times so that they can play for that overtime if they do end up dropping one.
And this is the kind of round where maybe that twist of pressure, no pun intended there, for Team Liquid starts to amp up, right? Sometimes when you get to that top scoreline or towards 14, not even onto map point yet, maybe you let off the pressure just a little bit. And once you've let off, it's very hard to turn it back on. So if Chaos can now convert, pressure amplifies just a touch for Team Liquid. Good flashbang, better shot for Stewie. He avoids the flashbang. He gets the kill, and he'll back right off at the AWP. No chance for the punish, no chance to do anything with that, and they'll start to move that gun. It is the big threat in this round, so they are hiding it and shifting it about the map. But Chaos, expecting that movement, they continue to commit in. Elige has eaten a nade. He is quite low indeed. They just need to clear this angle. Apologies if some thunder's coming through. Apparently, the skies are opening up, as are Chaos opening up on their opponents. 2 kills coming in. Bomb now planted. This round potentially over. They might just want to save the AWP, and it seems to be that's what they're going to do.
I mean, that's fair. That's all they brought into the round. Sure, they bought up a few pistols, Kevlar, and a couple of players, but they'll even be able to save over the Kevlar for Twists and Stewie. So, yeah, bring the op over, bulk up their buy a little bit in this next round, and just give themselves the best chance possible. That's what they need. Right now, they need quantity in those rounds, or rather, quality in those rounds, not quantity, because it's only 2 that they need to actually finish this off. So, yeah, having the op there to help them in this next round is going to be big. But as we said, much better from Chaos now, being able to actually keep 4 standing. At least most likely, there is still Naf at the bottom of Banana, but he's only got a USP, so I'm not expecting much to be found. And they should be all secure at this point as well, just hiding around the top of Banana. Although he hit a couple shots towards the body there and done enough damage to ensure that the op was going to be dropped. Thankfully being picked back up by Zeppa, but still a bit of extra reinvestment having to come in there from Vanity. 5 in the difference though, Mike. This is getting a lot closer than I'm sure most people would have expected. It's still not in a position right now where Liquid are sweating and are incredibly worried because they still have quite a few chances, including right now, to close this out. But I wasn't expecting Chaos to be able to start building back up this convincingly here on the T side, if I'm being honest.
No, considering how dominant it was, I mean, we got to a 14-5 line, right? And then Chaos, once they get that first round, it's like, okay, doors are off. Nice kill for Zeppa. He's going to get more. He's not quite going to find the third, but he's done his damage, and they're going to come in for the trade. That's a missed opportunity. Nearly had the chance to catch Elige before he escaped. Now he's going to go bold. Oh, my. He is going to bet the farm on this one. He finds Jonji, and he gets away. Catches him on the reload. Bold play from Elige. Bold victory. And now this is a great situation. Great scenario for Team Liquid. They've got control of the site. They've got a second player in here. Chaos are still bunched up top. Banana. Elige has equalized the numbers and been able to back off. He's trying to get more through the smoke, and he'll get damage, to be fair. Vanity now low. And Elige may have just done enough to crack this runarounds for Chaos. Now the hit comes in. They are making their move. There's still a minute, so plenty of time. But that's a big kill. Better trade from Naf. This should be over, and indeed it is Naf to finish it. Put the exclamation part on the round. Liquid have found map point. That was the round where Chaos could have truly made us believe, and Liquid have shut it down.
I mean, look at even the bits of damage that had been done. Vanity going down in that previous round just towards the end of it means he's not going to get even an AK, let alone the op to work with. Zeppa was a little bit short on money as well. You see being 100 short of getting the AK after the Kevlar comes out. So he may go for a Galil or even another SMG to join Vanity to ensure that they can get the nades in play. But that's it. Now they're playing for an overtime. They need 6 rounds in a row in order to take this into that overtime. If not, they are going to be dropping here. Again, we have to be fair. It is Liquid's map choice. And Mirage is one where we were expecting Chaos to fare much better. But still, it's upsetting that they were unfortunately not able to come through with a better CT side, especially with the start that they had. Because of how good their T side has been so far, they could have been looking fantastic right now, even if they got up to 6 or 7 on that CT side.
Absolutely, if you're looking at this map in a vacuum right now, once the results come in, this is assuming that Liquid can convert this round. This makes sense, right? As a scoreline, this makes complete sense. But we'll see if they can confirm the scoreline, because the reality is the story of the game has been anything but sense. We've had these big sprees of rounds from Chaos, and then just an inability to build outside of those. Well, if they could start another spree of rounds here, maybe we see a little bit more. The spam down hallway is designed to allow Zeppa to cross, and he has crossed. He now has this boiler control. They know that Twist is out towards Hall. That's about all they know for now. And Zeppa will actually back out of it. Got this presence. The rest of his team now thinking about taking some banana control, it seems. Maybe top mid. Never mind. Forget banana. We're going towards A this time. Weather's nice this time of year. Let's roll on through, but it's a very default setup for Liquid. And they're not going to flinch. None of this utility is going to cause a rotation, is going to cause a flinch. They're very much in their default, come what may.
And they're just actually going to charge straight into B right now, through the smokes as well. There's a Molotov down that actually forces some of the players around towards the spawn, which does allow for Stewie to take that trade. And with that, stay alive. And look at the damage that's being done. Stewie, though, being naded, being charged on. And Jonji already having that control, having pushed through the spawn into construction, is ready to hold off the rotates.
Okay.
Chaos, all right. Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. Just charging straight in after just trying to sell out a fake with one Moto smoke. I believe the initial hope for that was just to ensure that if there was any players peeking around that top of banana, that they would be kind of out of position then and at least moving back towards the bomb site, maybe towards the CT spawn and such, just to let them do that. And damn, yeah, fantastic work to be able to trade out Stewie as well. And as I pointed out, to be able to get that control in towards construction, that just wasn't expected so quickly. Liquid again forced into the save, double digits for Chaos.
Well, Dean, we were about ready to close the book on this map, but it seems like Chaos might have some chapters left to write. This is getting interesting now. 5 rounds for overtime. Obviously, there is no room for mistakes. Presumably, Liquid going to take a bit of a half buy here on the remaining players and maybe throw some pistols around. Naf could maybe toss an upgrade to somebody if they wanted to get an SMG out, but there's no reason to go for heavy investment here. They want those proper gun rounds. So we're going to see Stewie pick up armor and a pistol. They'll share the upgraded pistols out a little bit, but we really shouldn't see much more from Liquid, which is presumably going to allow Chaos up to 11. And this map gets very interesting indeed. Again, I apologize if Thunder's coming through in any way.
It's all good. We're not picking up at all of them. I don't believe.
Great.
At least I'm not hearing it, so they shouldn't be able
Hopefully,
to
my power holds out as well. If I disappear suddenly, my apologies. Mother Nature isn't on my side today. Naf, deep into the apartments. This is bold. He gets one, but he's traded, and that was not worth it. That was their one AWP. He went for the bold play, and it didn't work out. But Twist, keeping up the bold play works out beautifully. He gets the kill. He backs off. They've let one player into the site proper, but did they clear Boiler? They do indeed. Big kill for Steel, and I don't think they'll expect Vanity to already be out towards Moto. Deep into the graveyard. As they come through the smoke, he should be able to punish. Now the smoke fades. Grim's out. Grim's dead. They don't even have to reveal Vanity's position. Stewie, what can he do? Maybe go on a mission to try and find that AWP, but I think he's just going to try and risk it. Go for something. Go for anything. No, seems he's on a mission to recover a gun.
Yeah, that's fair. It could be quite useful. Did they move that up around at all over towards the apartments? I wouldn't imagine rather that they got a chance to do so. Rifle available here on second mid at least. Will he move back in and try and get the op in the apartments? Is it worthwhile now that he has the AK? It looks like, unfortunately, this is probably going to cost him his life because he's also being flanked out on the balcony right now by Vanity. Although he doesn't quite catch the time in there to spot Stewie creeping in towards the apartment, so he may be able to just sit here securely until the end of it, and at that point pick up the op, but no, swaps it out, and isn't able to get the 5-7 out in time, or at least not connect the shots after getting it out. as it is 11-15, only 4 rounds now in the difference. Chaos, they are beginning to make this possible for sure. As we said, we were hoping that even if they weren't able to pull the comeback back into a winnable position, that at least they'd warm up before heading towards Mirage. But no, at this point, it's really starting to look like that overtime is possible.
They've won 6 of the last 7. 6 of the last 7. Now, only 1 more is needed for Liquid, so if they keep up that pace, it's not the worst thing in the world. They'll get out of it with a 16-14, but they got to get there first. And we'll see. Naf looking down alt mid. He gets the tag. Not the frag, but damage done on the Leaf, and he puts them on notice. He's got a little bit info as well. Zeppa, though, knowing that the alt was committed, is going to take advantage of that and get forward. Down the halls, and here they come. It's just the halls pop. It's pretty straightforward play, and Twist is going to read it for the first, the second as well. That drops bomb in the pit. They're now committed to this play. They can't back off of it. Steel will get 1, and Twist does get eliminated, but good damage done for him, to be fair. The bomb's likely going to be planted. That's a nice nade, as well as follow-up spam. Okay, here we go. Liquid down 2v3, bomb going down. They've got a player positioned to wrap around the lane, and 1 coming out from library. These 2 players have to be good. They've got util to their name. They're going to try and clear the pit with it. Steel will catch that nade, but now he knows where 1 player's coming through. This is so bold from Janji. 1 straight bullet, and he's done for. But Grim has now walked past him, and this has worked out to Janji's favor. Janji comes back out the smoke, and there's the kills. Every player limping into the next round. Limping is enough. 3 rounds back now for Chaos from overtime.
That is absolutely insane. Whenever it seems like Chaos may have been beaten down, they just prove us wrong. That nade, molly, and spam combo out through the long smoke, it probably saved them there, let's be real. Being able to get that 1 kill and doing so much damage as well, giving them the room to get the bomb planted with a relatively comfortable advantage at that point. 3 rounds to go before we head into an overtime. Liquid at this point, I'd said a while ago they probably weren't sweating too much. At this point, they may need to change a t-shirt. Oh my god, Elige, okay, absolutely destroys Junji with that peek, but at least the T's were ready. The rest of Chaos already were moving into the apartments, so they get the instant trade, and with that now begin to pounce out towards the bomb site. But up close on quad right now with Twists and then a player also positioned on the bomb site, they could certainly still cause some serious damage, but as I say that, playing it relatively safely, they deal with Naf at least, and now they know where Twists is, and as soon as they do, they are able to go ahead and take him down. The nade as well came in to do some good damage, and then Steel just cleans up. So there we go. Kind of as expected in that round. Maybe got a little scary when Elige got that initial pick, and then also when they got slowed down coming out of the apartments. Yeah. But Chaos, they play it well, and now there's 2 to go.
There was danger with that crossfire, right? You have Naf on site, and then you've got Twist out towards the lane with the Deagle. But the presence of mind to slow things down at that point, dropped a Molotov to clear that position just in case there's a CZ or something like it waiting around the corner. That really ends it. Obviously, that's a hard read from Chaos. It's not a nade that you frequently see thrown, but it works. Elige going down mid. Here's the bold play. Here's the change up. Here's maybe Liquid feeling the flames, and it's working out. Speaking of flames, Zeppa will burn on Banana. And now Elige has this deep control. He'll get another kill and damage to boot. This could be it. 2 players remain. Vanity and Steel, and they're completely isolated. Vanity's up Banana. Steel trying to retake the T-ramp, and he'll succeed. He'll get this space. It's been given up. Liquid, 3 players up at this point, are content to fade back towards the site, and why wouldn't they? The round has barely begun, and they have already annihilated the bulk of Chaos.
It's just heartbreaking to be decimated like this after getting so close to the overtime right now. Steel and Vanity, there must be so much pressure on their shoulders. Separated as well. They've got some time here in fairness to work with, but unless Liquid makes some ridiculous mistakes, just peeking 1 by 1, then there really should be no chance that they can win this out. They have 50 seconds. They're just completely outnumbered, and as long as these B players can even stay alive or at least get 1 kill, then at that point the rest of the players moving in from A should have a pretty straightforward retake, and that's even if Chaos get that far. So yeah, Steel and Vanity right now, everything is working against them, including the time with that Molotov going down. The CT smoke actually leaving a massive gap as well. I think it was blocked there by the player who was standing in the spawn, and because of the gap, you see it taking the attention of Vanity. It allows for Stewie above the smoke to have an easy kill, and Steel is all alone. They try and knife him. That gets a little bit scary maybe, but Elige is there to end it and ensure that that isn't going to cost them anything. Liquid, they eventually close it out here on Inferno.